this is Kira, and welcome back to Saving for My Happy Place, or welcome if you're new. In today's video, I'm going to go ahead and do my budget with me for the first part of July. But before we dive into that, I wanted to update everybody on my journey to 1,000 subscribers. So I was able to add on 2 more X's to this tracker. I'm currently at 222 subscribers. So thank you so much to everyone that has recently subscribed to my channel. And thank you to all my continued subscribers for the support. And then I also just reached about 212 watch hours. So I was able to go ahead and color in another one of these clocks. Each one represents 100 watch hours. So thank you so much to anyone that has been, putting on my playlist to help me get my watch hours up. It's really exciting to see my channel growing, and I appreciate all of you guys so much. So sorry for not having a video on budgeting in the last couple of weeks. I actually went ahead and recorded a very long, it was like over an hour, about an hour and 5 minutes of a savings challenge video where I went over the Savings Around the World 2025 savings challenge. I got caught up in this. I had finished May and June in the video that I recorded. And then I also worked on my flower garden collaboration binder. And I was able to save $197 with all of these amazing channels that are participating in the flower garden collaboration. But for whatever reason, I was not able to get the video to process so that I could download it to my computer. So I don't know if the video was just too long. I tried dividing it into like a part 1, part 2. So that they were shorter, but inevitably I was not able to get this video to process, and I couldn't download it or upload it to YouTube. So I apologize for that. But basically in that video, I saved $197 and finished some savings challenges with the flower garden collaboration. And then I got caught up, like I said, with this Savings Around the World and finished May and June. And I'll be working on July next, and hopefully getting this also finished up this month. So I was very excited to save the $197 because, in the past on my videos, I have said that I am working on trying to get my car loan paid off. And that's what normally I would throw any extra money toward from savings challenges. However, you guys also know that E just had his wisdom teeth removed about 2 weeks ago, and he's doing really well. But I now have a debt to the tune of like over $2,600. So I was planning on putting that $197 toward E's wisdom teeth. However, last weekend, so let me set you up a little bit with how my street looks. So I live on a street where I guess the houses were built on a slope. So the houses across the street from me, you have to walk up 5 steps from the sidewalk to get into their front yard. And on my side of the street, you have to walk down 5 steps to get into my front yard. So try to imagine, a set of 5 steps, and then on either side of the steps is like a wall. So I've mentioned before that my house is really old. It was built in the 1940s. And on one side of the wall, there was a pipe that came out of the wall that was like facing my front door. And that was basically our main water line to the street. And so because the pipe was exposed to like the sun, and it was like a PVC pipe, as you can imagine, it got brittle over the years being exposed to the sun and the heat. And so it was very fragile. And so my husband had told Elle, like, please don't, hit this pipe with the lawnmower when you're doing the yards. He's been able to avoid, hitting it up to this point, but for whatever reason, he hit the pipe with a lawnmower, and then of course the pipe cracked, and water started spraying into the yard. And so we had to call a plumber last weekend, and that cost us $720. So I did put the $197 toward that bill, and then I took the rest of the money out of our emergency fund, which is that's what that's for. So, any money that I get this month, I'm going to have to put it toward getting my emergency fund back to $1,000. So anyways, that's a little bit of what's been going on with me in the last couple of weeks. And then here is my budget for the beginning of July 2025. So I was able to put it all on this budget tracking sheet. It didn't quite fit the way I wanted it to, so I had to, make some adjustments, which is why I usually do it on that expense tracker sheet. But I don't know. I started doing it on this one and then I just went with it. So let's go ahead and go over the budget for July. So my husband's first paycheck was $3,570.13. And then my paycheck this month was $4,206.25. And I only get paid once a month. And my husband gets paid, more than once a month. My check was a little bit bigger this month because I did put in some extra hours at my job because I had mentioned before that my coworker went out unexpectedly on leave. She's having a baby later this month and her doctor put her out on basically leave. So I had to take over some of her responsibilities and I had to put in some more hours above and beyond what I normally work. So total for the beginning of July, we're working with $7,776.38. All right, so going over our fixed expenses for the beginning of the month here. My mortgage is $2,004.40. Water and sewer is $134.68. Evan Moore, which is a website that I subscribe to as a teacher that allows me to print out worksheets for my students. That is $12.99 a month. NordVPN is $4.99. That is like a service that helps like protect your digital footprint online. My Toyota payment is $543.77. Our electricity was $223.37. I typically put $340 into this every month because some months, my electricity is a lot higher than that, especially in the summertime. Like I'm expecting, our bill for, our next bill to be a lot higher because it's getting a lot hotter here. But I have a good amount of money in a sinking fund already for this. So I just went ahead and paid what the actual bill was. So it was $223.37. Same thing with gas. I have like enough in a sinking fund for when my gas is higher in the winter time. So my actual gas this month was $50.18. And that's our natural gas. What powers our stove, our oven, our heater, that kind of thing. Not gas for the car. E's Xbox is $9.99 a month. That's for Xbox Game Pass. Jay's Xbox Game Pass is $19.99 a month. We have Spotify, which is $19.99 a month. My ScentFlirt, which is a subscription box that I subscribe to through Pink Zebra, is $43.68 a month. Our cell phone bill was, and this is for 5 lines, was $219.89. HB Instant Ink is $16.24. My life insurance is $26.22. Our streaming services, which is Hulu, Disney Plus, and Max bundled together, is $29.99. My student loans was $146.52. Culligan, which is a water bottle delivery service that we have, was $60.57. And then my other son, L, his Xbox is $19.99. So that's for the Game Pass as well. And then I have some more here that I could not fit into this box. And so that's what I mean. I'm never able to fit everything I need into these boxes. So I just went ahead and continued it down below. So we have Microsoft Office. That's $9.99 a month. Our trash is $36.76. And actually I need to see these little red marks. So the ones that are checked, I went in and paid The ones that are A's are automatic withdrawals. And then I do need to pay this trash, but when I went in, like it was too early to pay and said that I had a zero balance. So I need to go back in and make sure that that gets paid. Microsoft Copilot is $20 a month. My car insurance is $437.17. Again, like I went in to try to pay it, but then there was a zero balance. It was too early to pay. And then this is E's wisdom teeth payment. So that's going to be an additional $223.90 a month. That is a new debt this month. So when I add up all of those fixed expenses, my total is $4,315.27. And that leaves me with $3,461.11. All right, so then moving on to variable expenses. In my health category, I put $150. In beauty, I added $75. For medicine, I added $150. And then continuing up here, for pet care, I added $50. Dining out, I added $250. E's sticker chart, I added $20. E's Starbucks budget is $40. I put $40 into E's school fund. That's just for any expenses he needs for the school year. Same thing with L. I put in $40 for his school expenses. Groceries are $650 a month. My husband's spending budget is $720 a month. My spending budget is $250 a month. My husband's gas, so this is gas for his car, is $550 a month. So I did go ahead and added my 4th of July sinking fund to this first set of paychecks, since 4th of July was yesterday, and I wanted to make sure that, I added money to that envelope at the very beginning of the month. So that's what that check means. I already added that $20 to my sinking fund envelope for 4th of July. I put $40 toward my classroom budget, $40 towards miscellaneous and gifts, $12 for haircuts. That may seem like a weird amount, and it is. When I looked to see how much money I had in my haircut sinking fund, I only needed $12 to make it so that there was enough for 3 haircuts. And usually I just try to make sure that there's enough for 3 each month so that E, L, and my husband can all get haircuts. I don't get my haircut very often, so I don't really need money for that. But they all get their haircuts often. For my gas, I put $120 this month. Because it's summer and I'm home with my kids and we're going out and doing things, I added a little bit more money this month for my gas personally. And then for E's spending, he has $20. And then for household, I added $200. So when I add up all of my variable expenses, it comes to $3,437 even. And that left me $24.11. So in this area, I call it was the savings. And so my change jar is just 11 cents, basically any cents that I have left over that I didn't, want to put into another category. I just put in a little category called change jar, and that was only 11 cents. And then I gave E and L some E and L bucks. I'm sure you guys are familiar with that. You look on the $1 bills, and depending on where, I guess, the bill was minted, there's a letter, and that letter represents the city that it was minted in. And so I was able to put $24 towards that, and that's just for any other expenses they have that come up throughout the month. I have one child, L, that is definitely a saver. And then I have E, who is definitely a spender. So as soon as E gets any money, he is spending it immediately. And then, of course, something else will come up later on in the month, and then he needs money for something. So I just like to have a little bit of money set aside in case E needs some cash to go out with a friend or something like that. So that came to $24.11, and then my leftover is $0. So My budget did balance out again this month, which is amazing. I love it when that happens. Sometimes it doesn't, and I have to try to go back and figure out where I made a mistake. And sometimes I can find the mistake, and other times I can't find the mistake. So it's always nice when the budget balances out. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm going to go ahead and work on my next video for second part of July. My husband actually just got paid on the 3rd. This paycheck here was actually from like the latter part of June that I applied toward the bills and the variable expenses. But I need to actually work on another budget today, and so I'll have that video up for you guys soon. Well, anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope everyone had a fun and safe 4th of July, and I will talk to you guys in my next video. Bye.